On this episode, we're going back to opening day for all 4 Walt Disney World parks and ranking the attractions that opened with each park and are still around.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and as always, I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys!
If you want to be part of the community and join the conversation, get the latest theme park news, as well as live streams from the parks and resorts, head to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic, and on TikTok at MSM Podcast.
Planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.
Are you ready for your bucket list trip? Our trusted partner, MEI-Travel, will handle the planning so you can focus on the memories. They offer free vacation planning services and have nearly 20 years of experience creating memorable vacations. Visit mainstmagic.com/travel for a fee-free, no-obligation quote today.
Well, we are almost in mid-October.
We're a third of the way through.
I just can't believe it's already October.
I know, but don't go half. We're only a third. Let's just slow down, lady.
I said almost.
Almost.
We're getting there.
We literally are, yeah.
I've been so busy with my work now. It's the holiday season.
Yes.
Booked solid, working very much 12 hours. So I feel like I haven't sat down for a while, like recording, but
well, we're going to do some this weekend.
Yeah.
Because we have a busy schedule coming up.
We do.
As always. But today we're going to have a little fun. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about each of the 4 Walt Disney World parks and the attractions that they had on opening day that are still around today.
Okay.
And we'll kind of chat about them, and we'll kind of give our thoughts and rank them a little bit. But before we dive into that, I did want to talk real quick. So a friend of the show, Paul, from Franklin College, reached out again. If you go way back to episode 529.
Oh, wow.
Pursuing Our Passion was a special Q&A that we actually did with students of Franklin College at Disney.
That was so fun.
Which was just amazing. So if you've never heard that episode, go back and listen. These are some amazing, well, they're not kids anymore. Now they're all grown adults. I'm sure they've all graduated by now because that was a couple years ago.
Wow.
Like 3 years ago or 4 years ago. But anyway, one of the things that they do, so they're going on this trip again in January, and it was the one that we were a part of a couple years ago that we got to sit in on.
Oh,
and
do we need to go back?
Interviewed us and all, and so Be Nice to cast members, was a big thing, and it's a big thing with what they're doing and with them going to Disney and all. So Paul reached out and said, is there an episode where you guys talk about kind of what was behind the Be Nice to cast members? And I said, yeah, there probably is. I have no idea which one it is. So here's what we'll do is we'll just kind of give an update, on where all that came from. And it's a good timing because we did just open the new merch shop.
Yay.
So if you go to mainstreetshirts.com, we got Be Nice to cast member shirts, we got hats, we got hoodies, and we got a long sleeve.
I can't wait to get my Constants.
Yes, we got some cool stuff. We actually have some merch coming in. That we ordered to get and start taking some photos and stuff in the parks. There's a really cool Constance Hatchaway design and a lot of other good stuff. So check out mainstreetshirts.com. But really what that came from was coming out of lockdown and COVID and the parks reopening and us being lucky enough to have a lot of really good cast member friends.
Yes.
Who unfortunately, as we started and along with everybody else started to return to the parks, were telling us some just horror stories. We heard stories from, general experience managers and all that were just, they're awful. The things that people say to them and we understand, we talk a lot about, you spend a lot of money to go to Disney. You spend a lot of money to do anything nowadays.
Yeah.
And it's understandable. You want to get the value and you want to get everything out of that. But here's the simple fact. I understand that every Disney employee is technically a cast member, but the ones that you're interacting with while you're there have nothing to do with anything except providing the magic that they can provide in that moment, in that situation that they're a part of. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So, the cast member who is an attendant at Haunted Mansion and the ride goes down has nothing to do with it.
Right.
Right? You know who else doesn't? The person at customer service, at guest services. The person at your hotel. Mm-hmm. And it's understandable. I don't know why I'm using that as a example, but let's just say you had lightning lanes, right? And a bunch of stuff went down and you didn't get your use out of them. Going up to a cast member, especially ones on the front line that have nothing to do with it, and berating them and screaming and yelling at them does nobody any good. All it does is make the situation worse. And so we just wanted that message to be out there and to start getting around.
Because if you do go, it makes complete understandable if you've bought some lightning lanes and maybe your ride went down and you had to go and nothing was coming back up, then you actually go to customer service. And if you're really nice, sometimes, I don't know, they might do something, but it's just, that's where we're like, just be nice to cast members. They're not your servants.
Right.
We would not be able to be into Disney at all. And we wouldn't be allowed to go into the parks if there weren't cast members.
Yeah.
So...
And that was our thought, was to spread a word. And, we could easily spread the word on social. We can spread the word in a podcast, but it only goes so far.
Right.
When you get to see it in the parks, and you get to see someone wearing that shirt, or a cast member gets to see it.
Yes.
There's something that happens. And here's the whole thing is that, I can't tell you how many times we have come across a cast member in one of those shirts and they've said, thank you, I needed that today.
Yeah.
Because they had some horrible guest that morning or just, 5 minutes before you showed up. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, we want those cast members to go home and just feel good about their day and think, hey, I saw someone who appreciated us or me today.
Right.
I don't care about the what earlier on, So that's the whole reason that, we decided to come out with them. It was really that visual. Yeah. It was being able to see them and be in the parks. We could go walk around Disney, just yell, be nice to cast members all we want, but they might kick us out.
And
I don't know.
That's what we just wanted. We're like, just be nice to the cast members. Yeah. And then, I think we joked and was like, we should put that on a shirt.
Yeah, we did. And I just came up with it. And I just went in and said, hey, let's go ahead and do it. And it's simple, it's to the point, and it's in your face. So if you would like those, you can go out to mainstreetshirts.com. Paul, Franklin College, all the students, give them our love, say hello. And I hope you guys have a wonderful trip. Let us know if there's anything we can do to help, of course.
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about opening of all 4 Walt Disney World theme parks and what they opened with and what's still around from opening day.
Okay.
So, of course, we're going to start with the Magic Kingdom, which opened on October 1st, 1971. Cost of admission was $3.50 per adult.
That's insane.
Now, do you remember how the park opened?
Now 200.
Yeah, we're hitting over 200 on the highest marks. Annual passes went up, parking went up, regular day tickets went up, like they do every year. So yeah, you're looking at 200. Now, do you remember though back then? Because I don't know. Do you know the first time your parents went to Disney? Like mine went for their honeymoon in 74. When did they get married? Somewhere around there. Because I know they celebrated 50 years recently. So, when they went, they still have left over. Because it wasn't just $3.50. If you wanted to ride stuff, do you remember what they had?
Oh, e-tickets, right?
Well, ticket books from A to E. Yeah. And that's where e-ticket came from. E-ticket were the top tier rides.
Right.
So you'd pay $3.50 to $5.75 for each of those additional tickets. It's kind of like fairs are now,
Yeah.
Like you go into a fair, sometimes admission is free, sometimes it's like $5, $10, or a canned good. And then, you pay for individual rides or attractions. So that's how Magic Kingdom
opened. Or you go to the box and you get all these tickets.
Yeah.
And then it's 2 tickets or it's 1 ticket or it's...
We used to do that when a long time ago at Myrtle Beach when they had, I can't remember what it was. It was like a carnival fairgroundish boardwalk looking-ish place. Mm-hmm. And it was that way. And I remember you go in and be like, give me 20 tickets.
Yeah.
And then it was, rides were 2, 3, 1, whatever tickets. So pretty interesting. Here's what I think is crazy is that when it opened in the 6 lands of Magic Kingdom, it had 23 attractions on opening day.
Wow.
Now, I understand the way Magic Kingdom does attractions because, carousels are attractions. Shows and certain things can be attractions.
Right.
But simply put, it had 23 things to do.
Right.
Can you think of any other park that we have visited that has that many things to do, especially that when it first opened? What does Epic got?
I just started to say, what does Epic have?
11, I believe. is the number of attractions. Is 11 attractions.
Attractions.
Now, to be fair, they're 11 top tier attractions. Like, I get it. They can't all be claimed as an e-ticket, but I bet 7 or 8 of them could.
Okay.
But there's not a lot of that filler. And I think Magic Kingdom does such an incredible job of having quality filler. You know, when we end up talking about like EPCOT, it's things like Grand Fiesta Tour. Mm-hmm. You know, you need people eaters. Right. And Magic Kingdom has so many of them.
Yeah,
that I feel like you can go to Magic Kingdom and you're going to feel accomplished no matter what, for the most part.
I agree.
So that's what I think is just crazy. So the official public grand opening wasn't until October 25th in 1971. There was kind of a soft opening on that October 1st, which was a lot of media and had a total of less than 10,000 guests.
Wow.
And if you go back, I mean, if you go all the way back to then, if you remember, like, you know, some of the concrete and asphalt hadn't even settled. Like, women's high heels were sticking into asphalt some. Like, so they got it out there. They got what they needed done. Something I knew just from looking at photos, but I guess you don't always think about, like, Cinderella Castle was built before any of the rest of the park was built.
That's cool.
And here's something that I was looking at and I found amazing is that it did not use any scaffolding.
Wow.
Which is kind of insane when you think about it.
Oh, wait. You mean where they climb up and that's when they do the thing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
so,
that?
yeah, I mean, it's going to be repainted, right?
Right.
They're going to repaint the castle. What do you think they're going to need for that? Scaffolding. They're going to have to, you know, erect scaffolding in sections all around the castle. And to build something like this without the use of it, I think is pretty impressive. And of course, we all know,
wow.
you know, there's no actual brick, rock, stone
correct
as part of Cinderella Castle.
Nope.
It's all fiberglass and stuff like that.
Yep.
So, do you want to read off, Rhonda, the attractions that were open on? Well, it's not all 23. So these are the opening day attractions. There's 11 of them that are still around today. Now, all of them have gone through some form of update or change, of course. But these 11 were there 54 years ago now, because we just celebrate. Can you believe that we're 4 years past the 50th anniversary?
Yes and no.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
Yes, it feels like it was a lifetime ago. And then no, because it pretty much fell in COVID.
Yeah, it did. That's what I remember. And that's why they ran it for the 18 months, you know, because October 1st of 2021 was going to be it.
Right.
And we didn't really know what was going on and they were going to try it. So anyway, yeah, I think that part's just crazy that we still have 11 that were there opening day. So yeah, let everybody know what those were.
All right. So you got Jungle Cruise, Country Bear Jamboree, Hall of Presidents, Haunted Mansion, It's a Small World, Mad Tea Party, Peter Pan's Flight, Prince Charming Regal Carousel, the Swiss Family Treehouse, the Walt Disney World Railroad, and Tomorrowland Speedway.
So every one of these, for the most part, that I can tell, has gone through a change of some sort. You know, you have major changes like Country Bear Jamboree. You know, it's got a huge overhaul with all new songs, you know, change of a lot of animatronics, additions, characters, and things like that. Hall of Presidents, obviously, is going to update every 4 years.
Right.
And then, you know, Haunted Mansion, we got things like Hatbox Ghosts, you know. So there's little things that have come through. So with all of these 11 that were there on opening day, if Bob Iger called you after we record and said, we're going to bulldoze one of them tomorrow, what would you pick out of these 11 to completely demolish and get rid of?
Even though I just found a picture of me, old Disney and Magic Kingdom.
Old picture of young you.
Yeah.
That's what we'll say.
And even like knowing and remembering Tomorrowland Speedway, I'd say that one.
Get rid of that?
Yeah.
I'd agree. And well, it's so crazy. One of those pictures was seeing the sky buckets.
Yes.
Like, that's insane that those were at Magic Kingdom. You know, I call the aerofoil balloon
and I was on
trap. Just think about those things. I know, it's nuts. That's crazy.
I wrote it.
You know, I'd have to go. So here's funny. So if we said, if he called and said, what is one attraction you would bulldoze and what's one attraction that you would completely fix? I feel like Tomorrowland Speedway could be the answer for both of those in some ways. You know what I mean? Because I do think
what would you fix and do? What would you?
Well, you have to, you scrap the gasoline vehicles.
Okay.
And you move all electric. You know, and I think that gives you the opportunity. First of all, it's not going to smell. It's going to run better. It's going to run easier. I mean, I am a grown 46-year-old man, and my leg is sore after I do that ride from just trying to stomp on that gas pedal. So I think everything just becomes easier.
And your arms aren't trying to keep you in the lane.
And here's the other thing. You know what? Let's stop pretending like we're driving them. This isn't bumper cars, which is basically what it's turned into. Right. But it's side to side. It's you running into the track.
Oh, my God.
And yes, sometimes the person in front of you on accident. So I think you go all electric. And then I think it was me did on Theme Park Shuffle one time where, a lot of people have talked about making this Wreck-It Ralph, and this being a racing, Vanellope's, whatever, racing or something. It could be the Candy I want to say Candy Crush. It could be that type of thing.
Yeah.
What you could do potentially Sugar Rush. You could potentially do is usage of some screens as well as regular elements. You can't enclose the space, but I'm just thinking of taking the idea of Tomorrowland Speedway with the technology of Mario Kart, but without the glasses.
But
you know what I mean?
You'd have to enclose it if you're going to put screens.
Well, you'd have to go major. Well, I think you could still have side screens that could help interact. When I look at the way the test track looks now, right? When you go into some of those areas with those screens that look almost 3D and almost like they're endless.
And they're amazing.
I think you could have portions of that. Now, yes, some of that would have to be covered. Some of that would have to be domed or something. I think other portions could be done on side screens. Overall, I think it needs to be torn out, and most of Tomorrowland does. They need to tear out the Speedway. They need to tear out Stitch's Great Escape. At that point, you're probably going to take out the Galactic Goodies. You're going to take out Star Traders. You're going to have to completely reroute or change something with the People Mover. But Tomorrowland, after these next projects are done, I feel like needs to be the next major project.
I hope so.
Because EPCOT is, air quote, done.
Okay.
Right? We're getting a whole new Monstropolis Monsters area in Hollywood Studios, whole new land with the Tropical Americas over in Animal Kingdom, right? We're getting 2 new lands in Magic. So each park has just had these major changes and updates, and I think Magic Kingdom is still ripe to do that again. And now that you have, you can't shut down Tomorrowland right now.
No.
You simply can't. Now, when we have a Cars land and a Villains land, you can. You can keep people from that section of the park because you have things to fill them with. And however you have to reroute some creative things to get them to Tron, if Space Mountain's going to stay the same, go ahead and do it. And my guess is Buzz Lightyear is going to stay pretty much the same because they are putting quite a lot into it with this update and refurbishment. So,
when did Space come along? I thought it was.
Space, I believe, was 1970. People are going to yell at me. 75 or 73?
Because I would almost be ready for something.
Outside of Tron, they could bulldoze all of Tomorrowland and start over, and I'd be okay.
I feel like if they could take and shut Space down and basically make it like Disneyland,
man,
I'd be like, please do that.
I know. I think you'd have to gut it. I don't know that you can. Yeah, I don't know that you can put, new cars on the same track. I don't know how that would run, but that would be nice. If you had to go top 5 opening day attractions that are still around, I think we're both probably putting Haunted Mansion at number 1.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Jungle Cruise is going to be in that top 5.
For you, yep,
right?
Absolutely.
What else are you putting up there? Because a lot of these aren't ones that we tend to do a lot.
I love the Swiss Family Treehouse.
Mm-hmm.
And I was going to say, that is probably, I don't know if they quote unquote have refurbed it in 50 years, but it is held up and it has. I don't feel like they've really done anything. Yeah, they constantly update it and all enough just to keep it running. I'd have to go with Prince Charming Regal Carousel as one of the top. Because that, where did the idea for Disneyland come from? Walt sitting by a carousel thinking he wanted to create a place for families, right? Okay. And there it sits right behind the castle. I think it's so perfect. They can never get rid of that. Ever. To me, I don't think they should. To me, I'd see more hate be thrown at them for getting rid of the carousel over something like Small World. Yeah. From me personally, that's how it would be. Yeah. It's put up there. The railroad is a classic. It's wonderful. I'll be interested to see how it's going to do. Well, now they reroute it. Yeah. Why is that? My daddy worked for CSX.
Yeah.
So
yeah, for what, 50 years or
for
something?
a very long time.
Very long time.
Retired from there.
Yeah.
But I just remember Daddy in trains, and it was just even though he worked for CSX, he didn't work like with the trains or anything. But I think he would have liked to or something. Like Daddy just liked trains.
Yeah. Let's just say we weren't I know we talked about Tomorrowland Speedway and maybe getting some sort of update. If we weren't bulldozing, which of the original 11 attractions would you see getting an update? Now, I do think Tomorrowland Speedway, if all you did was swap electric cars, you've already made it a better attraction. You know what I mean?
I don't know, because I feel like you can't, like, Peter Pan's great.
Oh, okay. What about a reskin the way that Splash was reskinned to Tiana's? So ride system's the same, the bones are the same. You know, the house is
Small
built.
World.
Small World. Or
Yeah.
something in Tangled.
That'd be cool because it's right there.
Yep.
It's right next to the Tangled bathrooms. Yep. You get out.
Yep.
Yeah.
And again, only looking at an overhead map and not knowing the full plans, obviously, for
100%.
Villains Land, there is a spot, I believe, right there near Tangled Bathrooms in Small World that a path could be created to take you directly into Villains Land, which would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then you can have ScarJo greeting you as Mother Gothel, apparently, because that's apparently back on the tables.
That's exciting.
So we'll see if that comes through. All right, let's move on to EPCOT. Opened a little bit after 11 years on October 1st, 1982. Of course, EPCOT was Walt's original idea for the experimental prototype community of tomorrow. So this cost around $1.2 billion to make.
Oh my goodness.
Or to build, I should say. Magic Kingdom 11 years earlier was around $400 million.
Okay, so $400 million, whereas EPCOT was $1
billion 11 years later. So that's absolutely insane.
That is.
It originally opened with only 2 worlds. You had Future World and World Showcase, and only 3 attractions from that opening day are still around.
Wow.
What are they?
They are Spaceship Earth, updated, but still the same core ride, Living with the Land, and the American Adventure, which I finally did see.
As far as I knew off the top of my head, I believe American Adventure is the only one that hasn't had a refurbishment or major upgrade. Living with the Land opened as Listen with the Land. It used to have a live cast member on the boats with you, much like a Jungle Cruise or Kilimanjaro, right?
That's cool.
So that's obviously gone through some updates, but it's still the same core ride. Same with Spaceship Earth. I was hoping for that full redo of Spaceship Earth, that we were supposed to get. I think it was back in 2020. They were supposed to close, and then, they're going to redo everything. I think we're just getting, regular updates and tweaks and all while it's closed right now. Mm-hmm. Do you think that one out of those 3? I mean, you would probably bulldoze the American Adventure, I'm guessing. Right?
No, because it's a good place to take a nap.
Okay, but out of these 3...
No,
you got to pick one, right?
I would. I mean, I saw it and it was good.
It's an incredible feat of technology and animatronics
100%.
in storytelling.
Yes, it is.
You have to admit.
I am.
It blows my mind anytime I see
amazing.
it. And I've only seen it 2 or 3 times. It's the funny part.
But I don't know. I don't love it. And I think with today's world, we need like something that is
I think it
entertaining.
Yeah, it's a good point. I think the American Adventure ends at a good point in time, the way that it is. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to see an update where it probably pulls in the last 20 years or so. I just think it's just too much. It's you can say what you want about Hall of Presidents, and you can say what you want about whatever side you're on. To me, the Hall of Presidents is a piece of history that should not go anywhere, and I do enjoy it for that part. So I think it ends at a safe place. Yeah, and that's what Hall of Presidents does. Hall of Presidents doesn't show favorites.
Right.
It says a new president comes into office, and we put them up there.
Right.
Regardless of who that president is.
Correct.
So, American Adventure, I think if you try and update it to get up to date, I think you're just going to have some issues on showing a That was the word I'm looking for. You know what I mean? Like
I do.
without picking a side
Right.
from either Disney or the people that are watching it.
Correct. And honestly, to be 1,000% honest, I'm almost surprised they have left it around because it tells history.
Yeah, I know. It really is interesting. And the thing is this is one of those that if it ever goes away, all of a sudden everybody will say how much they loved it and they can't believe that you're taking it away.
Right.
And then it'll be packed. But right now it's not. It is a giant theater. I'm sure it could be used. I'm sure it could be used for something else.
Yeah.
I do think the American Adventure is important and it's a piece of history, but let's be honest. In 1982 and in the 80s when EPCOT opened, it was largely about education.
Correct.
It's not anymore.
Not anymore.
It really isn't. So I think if you lose something like that, it's technically okay.
Yeah.
Or you just bring basically a shortened live version of Hamilton to that theater.
That'd be cool.
You have to admit that would be pretty cool.
With all the animatronics?
Yeah, I did one of those for Theme Park Shuffle. You would literally redo it all, but in the style of Hamilton. So the story of the American Adventure would stay the same. It would just be done in the style of Lin-Manuel Miranda and Hamilton and that hip hop style.
Uh-huh.
And
that would be cool.
Come on, right?
That would.
Let's do it. Let's do it. All right, let's move on to Hollywood Studios, which opened on May 1st, 1989 as what?
MGM Studios,
Yep.
and I had a picture.
Disney MGM Studios.
Yep. So I would probably assume that I was there very probably close to even opening day.
Yeah. Yeah, it must have been, right? You have to ask your parents when you guys went after that. I know I went back when it was MGM. Now, okay, we made fun of Epic Universe and Universal, right? Hollywood Studios opened with 6 attractions.
That's
6.
funny. That's not many.
Now, it did open under this guise and this style of like a working studio, and at times it was, and you had all these these incredible things. Michael Eisner, who was the CEO when and helped create Hollywood Studios and bring it to life and all, said we're in the business of selling excitement, and Hollywood Studios opened like a movie set that wasn't quite finished.
That's cool.
It's a good way to backtrack. That's some good PR moves right there.
Uh-huh.
But it was designed in that way, so it was both a theme park and it was an actual working studio.
Wow.
MGM used to have the arches, right? Mm-hmm. Hollywood Studios now has the arches. It appears with the updates to the launch bay and the animation courtyard and everything that's coming in, it looks like we're going to lose that. Are you sad?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of sad that we're going to lose the arch there.
Yeah, that is, because I remember that.
Yeah.
I have pictures.
Yeah.
And
so,
wow.
But I think what they're going to do with this animation courtyard and is I think they're going to bring that part of studios back to life, which I am excited about because Hollywood Studios. Well, MGM went from being about making movies to being in the movies, mm-hmm. which is okay. But I don't know. I miss the behind the scenes. I miss kind of.
Like lights, motor, action?
Yeah. And the only thing that is still left as an original day.
There's only one.
Yeah. Opening day original attraction is really the only piece of backstage content and entertainment I feel like we get here. And that's the Indiana Jones Epic Stunt Spectacular.
Yep.
That shows you how those things are made, how the stunts are done, how everything's pulled off. And we don't have that throughout the park anymore.
No.
So I don't know if Indy's, a life here is short or what. It'll be interesting once Tropical Americas opens in the Indiana Jones area with the new ride. Do they start to think, hey, maybe it's time we do something with Indiana Jones over at Hollywood because now we've got it here.
Whole thing? Could you just pick it up and move it?
Oh, I wish. I would love to have that show in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Animal Kingdom with having.
I don't know if you
with
could,
having
though,
Nemo.
with the kids.
No.
I mean the kids, the animals.
Right. Oh, I know. It'd be too hard with the noises and explosions. But when you've got Nemo, you've got Festival of the Lion King, Stunt Spectacular, and they could make it fit more. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Especially within the Tropical America kind of theme.
God, I can't believe there's only one.
So yeah, there's not a lot to discuss there because that's it.
Wow.
I mean, when you, obviously, because we're going to talk about Animal Kingdom, which still has a couple opening day attractions, MGM to Hollywood Studios has gone through such a crazy transformation. over all these years.
Yes, it
has. It really is.
I think it has changed the most.
100%.
So,
Completely.
because Animal Kingdom now, I mean, now you're only at opening day was April 22nd, 1998.
Yeah.
I mean, we graduated high school in 1997.
Yep.
So.
And got married on April 22nd, didn't we?
We sure did.
That's how much we love the earth in Animal Kingdom.
Yep. Uh-huh.
That was a coincidence.
Yes,
it happened to fall on a Saturday towards the end of April. So it worked out.
Well, and my parents, they got married on the 16th, I think, or
of April,
something like that, because it's not tax day. Maybe it's the 17th. I don't know. It's one of those days.
Tax day.
I know, but it's one of those. I always get it messed up. But it's not my anniversary. I don't need to remember it. But it was super funny because I didn't want to get married then, and then my mom was like, because we've been in Florida, my entire life, my mom was like, well, don't forget, you don't want too hot. You don't want to. You don't want hurricane season. So. I was like, well, April it is, because then because it can get really cold in Florida. Mm-hmm. So we didn't want January. We didn't want February and then March. And then, I think we were looking at March, but then we were like, you could still get kind of cold. Right. So then we went to
Here's
April.
The thing with Florida. There's only about 2 solid weeks out of the entire year that are perfect for an outdoor wedding. Right? Let's just be honest. Because even after ours, thank God the thing was at 11 a.m., our ceremony on the beach, because we walked inside. You remember the sky open.
Yeah.
My dad and your dad were out there scrambling to get in the chairs and the arbor and everything we set up on the beach. And the sky just opened the way that Florida can the whole time we had our reception.
That's
inside.
what I said. My grandma was crying.
Yeah.
And they say it's good luck to rain on your wedding day.
Hey, well, it's lasted us pretty well.
I started to say we'll be celebrating 20
years.
Yeah,
next April 22nd.
Yeah.
So y'all can start thinking of gifts to send us now. But, it opened with 1,000 animals, 2,000 plus cast members, and 500 acres.
Wow.
The largest Disney park.
Wow.
Took over 8 years of planning and development. And Kilimanjaro Safaris is larger than the entire Magic Kingdom.
Wow.
Which is really crazy when you have to put things into perspective.
That's insane.
Especially when we go back and we talk about those 23 opening day attractions
100%.
in Magic Kingdom. The way that
100%.
You can't walk 20 feet in Magic Kingdom without walking into an attraction almost. You know what I mean? Let's say this, without walking into something to do. Whether it's eat, whether it is shop, whether it is see, whether it's ride, smell, whatever it is, Magic Kingdom has something everywhere. And you could still fit that entire thing within Kilimanjaro Safari.
You can... Wow.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think of this path that it's taking all throughout and around. And
I mean, I do.
It's not like it's a circle around Animal Kingdom. You know what I mean?
Right.
It has to add this extra, I think it's over 110 acres that it has to add. So that's pretty crazy. Tree of Life, a lot of people probably know this, has over 300 animals carved into its trunk. And the opening day, we actually have several. Now, a lot of these are trails. They're things like Discovery Island trails, Oasis exhibits. You got the Wildlife Express train. You got Rafiki's Planet Watch, the Gorilla Falls exploration trail, and then really only one technical ride from opening day.
Kilimanjaro Safaris, which is really cool. I'm glad it's still there.
Would you change anything about it?
No, not at all.
Do you remember when it first opened and they had the kind of mascot of red in the Kilimanjaro Safari was truly about poaching and stopping poaching of animals, and you were going to find red and
I don't remember the red part, but yes, I do remember the whole poaching and everything. Yeah. Yes, 100%.
What I wish I could do, we went to Disney for our senior spring break in high school.
Right.
Well, every other kid
which was
went
97.
and we were in Maryland. Well, it was 97, so this would have been March, April of 97, right?
Okay.
When every other kid, went to beaches and came down to Florida to Daytona Beach and drank and did all that stuff. Shockingly, I was not. Me and my friends at that time didn't do those things. So we went to Disney World, and we were there for a week.
Rob got his tongue pierced, right?
Yes, Rob did go to Disney World and get his tongue pierced, but he went into Orlando. A couple people went into Orlando one of the days downtown and got tongue piercings and
funny.
Doc Martens and all kinds of stuff. And but that's a moment I wish I could go back to see what the excitement was in the area. That was only a year before Animal Kingdom was going to open.
Yeah.
Like, it would have been neat to just be around that area, see what the excitement was, see what some of the marketing and the stuff started to look like, see what the excitement and the cast members, was like, that would have been super cool.
Yeah.
Or just to even drive near the spot.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool that we got to see Epic be built.
Yeah.
Right.
I started to say, do you think you would have like seen animals being brought in?
Yeah.
And like.
Yeah. Yeah. This is when I would want to go back. We have wonderful folks like BioReconstruct on Twitter. Twitter is worth having just for that account, honestly. It is the best theme park pictures you will find, especially when you look at stuff like when he does stuff like, document the progress of something like Epic Universe being built, all from a helicopter and just incredible shots. It's amazing. I would give anything to go back and see that for all these parks.
Yeah.
How cool would that be to have these types of shots of an animal kingdom being built in 1997, 1998, right?
Yeah.
That'd be super cool.
That would be.
So,
but would you have cared?
Well, back then I would not have cared. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I don't
I'd have
even know what that is. Like,
yeah. That's a trip I remember vaguely. I believe Matt planned the whole thing.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Because his parents were big Disney fans. Mm-hmm. I remember going into their house and seeing Disney stuff. We didn't have Disney stuff around our house like that. So he planned the entire trip. I believe we stayed at Caribbean Beach.
I think you remember that.
My main memory is riding Tower of Terror over and over and over and over again. But other than that, I don't remember a lot. But I remember having fun. And it was a good group of us. It was a big group of us, probably a dozen or so. And I think Tina came with us, even though she was a junior. But she was
she did
dating a senior that was not Rob at the time. So, so I think she came with us though. She was the only junior possibly allowed. But anyway, can you imagine? Like, they don't do that anymore. Kids do. Is Kaylin do a spring break trip?
Oh, not a spring break trip.
Yeah.
I mean, she'd have to go with friends. Again, it'd have to be a situation.
But that was a thing. Like you went for spring break trips in your senior. You went for your senior.
Oh no,
trips,
we have
like
not in our not.
Oh, okay.
Not here in Florida.
Not here in Florida. Because in Florida, life is a spring break. Yeah. Like, hey, for spring break, let's go to the beach. It's 20 minutes away.
Yeah, she has the. What do you call it? Where she goes back to Universal.
Yeah, she'll have Gradventure.
Gradventure.
They spend the night for that, though, don't they?
No. They come home at like 3 or 4 a.m. Because remember last year when Cassidy did?
That's right.
Because it's nice because you don't have to go pick them up. They do it for but they come home later, I think.
Than when they did it in 5th grade?
Than when they did it in 5th grade. Yeah. In 5th grade, it's like, was it 8th grade?
It was one of the two. They did lots of trips.
Because one time we had to get up at 1 a.m. and
yeah. I didn't have that stuff growing up, but the closest theme park I had was King's Dominion in Virginia.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
That was the closest one we had. I remember they had this really cool wooden coaster that we'd end off every trip with. But yeah, other than that, we didn't have theme parks. So we didn't have cool stuff like that where I grew up. I was in Damascus, Maryland. We didn't do anything.
I'm sorry.
That was it. We just did nothing. It was pretty much just, hey, figure out your own stuff, man. It was either like Cal Tippin or going to Daytona Beach, I guess.
So y'all don't have countries out there. Like, y'all had cows and stuff?
In Damascus?
Oh, I forgot Damascus.
Damascus High School was nicknamed Cow Pie High. We had one traffic light.
Seriously? You were like the Gilmore Girls?
I don't know. Is that what they are like?
I
probably am very much like a Gilmore Girl. We had 1 or 2 major sit-down restaurants. Tom and Ray's was our big sit-down restaurant. I remember when a Blockbuster came. That was insane. And we had Roby's Video that used to be able to go. There was an old theater. It was called the Druid Theater. It was a one theater, old. I don't know what year it was built, in Damascus. And you could go see some movies there. But I believe it ended up turning into either Blockbuster or the Roby's movies. And yeah, I mean, it was a tiny little town.
That's amazing.
And it's still pretty close. Only up until, I don't know what year it was, its last decade or so, it was a dry town. So you could not purchase alcohol within Damascus limits. That included sit-down restaurants. And now, I don't believe they've opened it up to like stores or whatever. I believe it's just sit-down restaurant. There might be a second one. We used to have to go to the Cedar Grove Country Store, which was just outside the border of Damascus. If you wanted to get like your buddy who was older to buy you beer, that's where you went. And the first time we ever went, then I'll move on because I think this story's funny. So one of our older friends, Sam, that you know, Sam's one of the best, and he was older than us. He turned 21 long before we did. I think he had me by 2 or 3 years, actually.
Really?
And I'll never forget, we all went to the Cedar Grove store after he turned 21. We're like, Sam, you're going to go in, you're going to buy beer. It's going to be so exciting. You're going to get us beer. We'll go drink it. He went in. He bought a 6-pack. I think there were 3 of us. It might have been Sam, Matt, and I. He comes out, and we have the 6-pack. We're so excited. And he bought I don't know if they used to have the tiny ones. You know how you have the tiny Coke cans now? They had beers like that. So each of them was like 8 ounces. And there's 3 of us like, what are we going to do with this? Why did you buy tiny ones? He's like, I was just nervous. I didn't know what to do. Like, you have a legal ID. Like, why are you nervous? And so, I don't know. I guess we drank tiny beers. But anyway, that will close it off for this episode. We have a lot of fun stuff coming up. Not only just kind of fun episode ideas, but of course we've got a lot of things in the parks coming up, which we are very excited about. So if you want all of that, you're going to have to hit subscribe, and you get the brand new info or the brand new episodes every single Tuesday and Friday. Head out to mainstreetshirts.com, pick up a Be Nice to Cast Member shirt or any of the other designs. We are adding new designs constantly as we kind of open the shop. We just wanted to get it out there because we have some cool Halloween stuff that'll be gone soon. You can try and get your hands on before it's gone. So that's why we wanted to open it. And then, of course, you know that Rhonda and I, we would be very, very thankful if you go out and you leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.